Candemonium compared to Mako, Tiki?
Well, I remember when Mako was first opened at SeaWorld Orlando. I remember the hype was kind of like, you know what? It's a good, solid B&M hyper, but it's nothing special. It's and honestly, like nowadays, it's like pretty much everyone has that thing listed as like their number one or number two B&M hyper. And it's like, just give it a minute, bro. Just give it a minute. Like, it's going to sink in. I feel like people were just bitching like, oh, Mako's pace slows at the second half. Boo. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's pace slows because you get the scenic views. It's like there's a thing called a scenic second half of a coaster, guys. Anyways, greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
That was really funny. Joker's Wild. I almost said Adventure Blue. Joker's Wild here. It's me.
Yeah, and we're back. Season 19, Project 3.
Yeah.
The high in the sky, pure action air ride. It's the Coaster Project.
It is.
All right. So I feel like this project is it's very interesting. First of all, I want to just say I do plan on having feedback, guys, but this weekend has just been like just absolutely just like I've basically had no free time all day, like from the time I got to work and then I got home and had to record a podcast and I ate dinner and then jumped on this. By all intents and purposes, I should have had my feedback up by now, my written feedback, but I honestly don't want to make any promises about when I'm going to have it up. I hope to have it up by Monday or Tuesday at the latest. So hopefully. But overall, I would say that this, you guys, basically, I feel like the teams in this project, they dealt with two kind of curveballs, which were, one, I don't feel like a lot of people have the strong suit of coasters in their back pocket. A few of them do, for sure, but I feel like a lot of them are kind of scared off by the coaster genre, especially the thrill coaster. And two, it's a team swap, and it was a pretty dramatic team swap as far as like we tried to move as many people around as we could.
Yeah, I think other than the people who had to stay, there was only like one or two people who we didn't move outside of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
the vast majority moved.
So with that in mind, let's see. We have I Am Air asking if we can cover Bailey's project later, so we'll go ahead and honor that.
Who's I Am Air, Tiki?
It's Sharon and Susan, right?
We did it. Yes, it is.
All right.
Oh my god. I'm proud.
I think for the longest time, for some reason, I just automatically assumed it was Dash.
Yeah, that's what you used to say. I think it was because of the video game connotation. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Dash is a hashtag gamer, bro.
I miss Dash.
So do I. He's too busy playing Fortnite now.
Oh, God. Oh no, don't even joke about that. Oh, God.
I asked him if he wanted to come on. He said, I can. I'm playing Among Us tonight.
All right, that got me. Yeah, actually, I was wondering why does we need to just steer clear of Sharon and Susan's project. I think that's I was wondering the same thing. I'm glad you guys brought that up.
Wait, what?
Because Sharon and Susan, I think in her head she's still on Team Bailey, but when in all actuality she's actually on Team Ringling because of the team swap.
I was confused too because you got two of the logos backwards in your thing.
I know I do. Shut up.
Yeah. No, it's okay, but that's why I said what. Now I understand.
All right. So with that in mind, we'll save Ringling for when I Am Air gets here. Yeah. We have Tegan. We have Behind the Magic, who I believe is Peregrine, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
God, you're on a roll tonight.
I know, right?
God, when Tiki's here, he's here.
Oh, God. Wow. All right. So, Bailey or Barnum, the two B's. What do you want to start with?
Let's do Team Barnum.
Team Barnum. All right. So I'm going to make this distinction right now. I think that Team Bailey had the overall strongest project.
Yes, I agree.
I think Team Barnum had my favorite project.
Yeah, I don't. Both Barnum and Bailey are very close for me. To me,
That's why I feel like that delineation that I just threw out there, like there's a distinct but thin line that kind of separates favorite from best, you know?
no, I get what you're saying. I don't know if this one's my favorite solely because I'm so familiar with HersheyPark, and a lot of my problems with this project stem from my familiarity with the park. But I
With that in
still
mind, I
really.
feel like I want to just get one thing out of the way with this. I gave realism a 6 out of 10, and guys, you could have so easily avoided that. You could have so easily avoided it. Honestly, I feel like this is a situation like this to me is like one of the closest situations I've seen in a while where one decision could have turned a project around and easily had them won and come out on top.
Yeah.
And that decision is like, I'm sorry, can I buy some of the weed that you all are smoking that you think that they're going to get rid of candemonium? Like, really?
Yeah, that was my big thing too, because there's other places in the park. Especially since the footprint of your ride doesn't seem that huge.
That utterly, I mean, not only is there a lot of footprint in the park, but you could have said, like, you could have very, very easily done an alternate timeline where it's this instead of Candemonium.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would have been totally fine. Yeah.
So, guys, I felt bad. I really felt bad because I was just like, oh, man, it's this one little detail. If that little detail that this replaced Candemonium wasn't there, I honestly, genuinely think this might have been the highest scoring project, at least for me. I don't know about the other two judges, but at least for me.
So to address what Tegan just said, I think that got lost a little bit in their project because they specifically mentioned Candemonium, which made me and apparently everyone.
So just I'm going to scroll directly to. We're going to have the evidence, Tegan. We have evidence. It's a courtroom procedural now. All right, let's see. Location. It's vaguely worded. Worded. Takes location of the. Okay, here's the thing. You said the ill-received Candemonium.
I think that's where the confusion on our end came.
I don't think it's clear enough, honestly. I feel bad, man. But I
sorry, it happens.
I do have to stick to my guns on this because just the whole the way that this is worded just makes it seem like HersheyPark is straight up just go, oh, that B&M hyper coaster that we just installed, get rid of it.
Yeah,
there's no way that is ever going to happen in the history of theme parks.
And unfortunately, since you did bring up an issue that was incorrect, we're going to cut half your points.
Yeah.
It's in the first post. It's not. I didn't make the rules. I'm sorry.
All right. So Tegan is very much saying, "Stop feeling bad. You're all good." So
don't worry about it.
Appreciate it. Okay. Honestly, other than that one little detail, I really, really love this project.
Yeah, so do I. In hindsight, I kind of agree with Doug's points on the track layout. With some elements.
Points?
I'd have to read it again. It was like some of the elements are a little too close. Some of them don't quite make sense for like inertia.
Okay, but keep in mind, Doug is like hardcore coaster bro. Like he is.
Oh no, I know. Yeah,
he is more expert than I am.
Yeah, no, it didn't really affect my score, but I think it's worth mentioning.
No, it totally is. I feel like pacing is one of those weird things in coaster where it's like I've definitely been on coasters that are poorly paced and I felt it. But there's other coasters where I've seen the criticism of it being poorly paced. I'm like, I don't know, it feels fine to me, I don't know. I feel like coaster enthusiasts can get a little bit too picky about the pacing issue. Doug!
No, Doug's critiques were fair. They weren't really about pacing. It was more about elements being too close together for it being unrealistic.
Okay, got it,
Yeah,
got
that's
it.
more what it was about, which I get in hindsight reading that.
So, as far as the ride system goes, I think what they did was very clever. They basically combined the idea of a hyper looping coaster, which is like a new concept unto itself. It's been tried a couple times. Of course, famously with oh goddamn, what was that? No, not Verbolten.
No, Verbolten has no.
What was oh, help me out here. What was the oh god, oh,
Where is it? What park?
same park as Verbolten, Williamsburg.
A B&M? A
No,
hyper?
it was a hyper with loops, and it did not last long.
It's not Dragon. No, Dragonfire wasn't.
Dragonfire, that's it.
Really? That's a
Yeah,
hyper?
yeah, that's a
Oh,
hyper. That was a
because
hyper. Yeah,
that was Arrow.
yeah, that was a hyper
I
technically.
had no idea. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like a hyper looping coaster. I don't know. I very much feel like it's a concept that you could do really well, especially because honestly, like RMCs in some ways are like Twisted Colossus. I'm sorry, not Twisted Colossus. Steel Vengeance is in some ways a hyper inverted coaster. In some
I was
ways,
I was kind of iffy on the spinning, but now that I know that it was like in very specific spots,
what
I'm
I like
more
about the
okay with it.
spinning is that I feel like the Morgan Extreme Spinning Coaster is going to slowly but surely be a huge thing for the industry.
Oh, I'm sure. I just thought it was weird for a hyper.
I think it's an interesting, bold choice for a
Yeah,
hyper.
that's fair.
I think I'm fascinated by Time Traveler, just Time Traveler's very existence. It's one of the main reasons I want to get to Silver Dollar City, obviously.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm just fascinated with with coasters that kind of like push the envelope. And in that way, I honestly think that this might be the most satisfying of the three as far as like this pushes the envelope and is an e-ticket. I would say both in the way of the hypercoaster with spinning elements and inversions, which as a coaster enthusiast, I can say that definitely would draw attention. I
Yeah.
very much could see that drawing a lot of hype. And then also the themed elements. And I think the themed elements are really damn good.
No, I really like them as well. My other thing is like I don't really think this is as innovative as Team Bailey's. Yeah, Bailey's. But the fact that they
It
put
was
so
easier
many
for me to wrap my
yeah.
head around than Team Bailey's.
No, that's fair, but the fact that they put so many things together kind of made it innovative. Does that make sense?
I
Um,
hear ya. I hear ya.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah.
I also really like the color changing ride vehicle, and that's something I'm surprised no one's tried that gimmick because it seems like a really easy gimmick to do.
I mean, like Radiator Springs Racers does it. I can't really think of any other
No,
ride
but
that
this
does
is
it.
like physically the vehicle.
Oh, yeah, right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Because all you really need is a temperature drop or even just water you can do that with.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Okay. Um, by the way, I want to point out this is a perfect example of me giving a 10 out of 10 in detail to a project that isn't like loaded front to back with detail. And I want to point out why. Specifically, I honestly this is a tip for the future, guys. I want you guys to take note here. Because I feel like this project is a good kind of thesis for the kind of structure and detail I'm looking for. So what I like about this structure is that you lay out the ride system really clearly. You lay out like, all right, this is the extreme hyper, the looping hyper. This is the extreme spinning coaster. Basically, like it's chocolate and peanut butter. Ha, get it? But and then we do the ride layout, and that focuses more on the inversions, which I thought was really smart. I thought that was that this is pretty much the section for the coaster enthusiasts. We get kind of like a sort of like a preview almost, kind of like just a tour of the elements. And then the ride experience is this is where I was blown. I was like, okay, yes, I love this kind of stuff in presentations. Just guys, take note here. Take note. This, what y'all did with Attack of the Bee movies, this is like, for me, this will like when you detail 10 out of 10 pretty much every time, just because of how easy it is to digest. And I mean, I'm not saying like you can't just like write nothing, you know, obviously there's got to be detail there. Obviously I got to get a good picture in my mind's eye, but I really, this is, I don't know, this is just so clean, you know, the logos, separating it all out like this, not, you know, any one section isn't too long to read. You get just enough to get a really good picture in your mind's eye of everything. I just super solid formatting, and like I said, I really think it should be like a
it is,
a blueprint. This is fantastic.
The coaster slips on a banana peel. It's perfect.
Honestly, this is I do love this this finale. I feel like it's a great finale.
I just love how comical it
is. It is, yeah. But but I you know, I love the Hershey's chocolate syrup fountains, and I don't know, I just think there is kind of like, and the whole the Hershey's big finish. They should have just like a giant chocolate bar in there.
Yeah. But, I think their only real miss for me, and it's a super big nitpick, is the fact that they used Kit Kat, because they can't use Kit Kat.
I do really appreciate the fact that they use Kit Kat for airtime hills. I thought that was super creative.
I get it; it's just unrealistic because
Hershey
doesn't technically own Kit Kat.
But Reese's Helixes.
I mean, at least they own Reese's.
All right, this to me, this was honestly probably for me the standout of all three projects. This Icebreakers thing right here. As soon as I saw it pitched in the brainstorming, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great. That's great." All right, we got Outbound in the comments here. Sharon and Susan is back. Sharon and Susan will get to team Ringling next. All right, so yeah, the Icebreakers thing, I'm like, just goddamn, it's perfect. It's just a brilliant concept for me.
Who wrote that?
I don't know. Tegan, do you know?
Question for the comments. Who wrote that?
Yeah, who wrote the Icebreakers Glaciers?
I definitely agree that's the standout part of the ride.
Like I said, as soon as I saw it pitched in the brainstorming, I was just like, oh, there we go. Like, that's perfect. Like, that is what's going to make it into an e-ticket.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, guys, like I said, just overall, I just really was, I was just delighted in how clean this presentation style was. So, you know, it definitely gets good marks for me there. All right. Any other things to say about this?
No, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a pretty perfect fit for HersheyPark. The only real issue is like a few small realism things, and especially the placement for me.
And like I said, I really think it's a shame because, like, I feel worse about it than the actual team members do, honestly. But, like, if they would have just clarified that this was going in, like, you know, like, alternate timeline-wise, this was going in place of, you know, of Candemonium and not replacing Candemonium, like, I honestly think that little I don't know, like, I love it and hate it at the same time. I hate it because it's kind of an example of the grading scale kind of screwing over a team. And I love it on a production point of view because it's an example of the grading scale screwing over a team in a, you know, in a way that you can like cite like, hey, like that happened. So,
yeah.
All right.
That being said, I don't like Chocolate Town in the first place. So, you know, that's okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. God damn, I want the tutor area back. The weird main street that's not in the park.
Beowulf, no, you did not miss Lycan. No, you did not. But we are going to go to Ringling next because I feel like we're going to be able to just kind of like breeze through this pretty quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, positives first. I love the park choice. I love the alternate history.
Yeah. No,
Pregnant
that's.
pause, because that's about all the positives I have. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, I like that they're doing Star Trek. I think that's cool. So one thing that I really want you guys to get out of desperately, and we're kind of pushing that with a few of the projects, is just stop shoehorning IPs into projects. Like,
Yeah.
not everything needs to be around an IP.
I mean, this, like, I feel like Project 4 is not a good example of that,
No,
but
Project 4 isn't, but
hey,
no.
Mike Myers time.
But Project 2 was. Project
And
2 is a
Project
great
5 will
example of
be as
that.
well.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of projects where we kind of try to encourage you guys to stay away from IPs. So please try to stay away from IPs. Because that was a big not problem, but that was a big thing that I noticed during Sorcerer's Apprentice, is that there were so many like back-to-back IP projects. And personally, I think it's more interesting to try to write your own thing from the ground up.
I agree.
Not to say that it's a bad thing that you guys did Star Trek. I think that's very fitting for the
Like
park
I
that
said,
you
I
chose.
do think that I am very interested in the history of Paramount parks, because I had Paramount's Great America as kind of like a secondary home park as a kid.
They were
And
really weird.
yeah,
I went to
go
King's
ahead.
Dominion in like 2006,
Uh-huh.
and they had like their kids area was like half Hanna-Barbera and half Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was weird. I mean, they were never really like, they were kind of like, I don't know. I honestly feel like nowadays with stuff like Mystic Timbers and stuff like that, like Cedar Fair is doing theming better than Paramount
Oh,
was
absolutely.
in some
Well, they had
ways.
their moments. They had their
They had their
moments.
moments. They had their
Yeah.
moments. And speaking of their moments, I feel like this very much emulates having one of their moments, like a Tomb Raider, for example.
Yeah.
Like this being in the same park as Tomb Raider, to me, like, it all does kind of make sense. There's a lot of elements of this that do strike a good realism chord with me, as far as like, I feel like Kings Island probably was the flagship Paramount park in the Paramount heyday. Is that fair?
I don't know. I always feel like it's between that and King's Dominion because they're both very, very similar to each other.
As far as I'm concerned, King's Dominion is not going to be a flagship park until it gets a good replacement for Volcano, but that's just me.
Well, I'm talking about in the 90s when they had Volcano.
Right. They didn't have Intimidator.
No, but even then, it was still a great park. They had a
Uh-huh.
ton of really cool. They had that weird launch coaster that they only made like 2 of,
Huh.
and they had Flight of Fear. They had a really really good Scooby Doo shooting dark ride that is now Boo Blasters. They had a wooden coaster that broke my back.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, like I almost like passed out. Like I really hurt my back on that ride. It's a really good park, but there's a lot of overlap between Kings Island and Dominion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I do think that, just with the investments that they were putting into this park, like Son of Beast, Tomb Raider, stuff like that, I really think that this realistically does kind of fit into the timeline for me. And that's my favorite
Absolutely.
element of the project.
And it makes sense too, because like Flight of Fear should have been open by now too, so they already have the sci-fi area.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that when I was a little kid, I kind of dreamed up this technology before they did, like way before, in my own head.
Wait, like the technology that they used in their project?
Yeah, the
Or
whole
yeah.
idea of like having a screen that encapsulates a coaster car, like as you're going through the coaster.
Oh, Tegan, it was Rebel Yell. I sat in the back on Rebel Yell, and I hit my back on the corner of the seat.
Oh God!
And it was not a good time. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I think that. So basically, like in my head, because I grew up with Top Gun at Great America, which will always be Top Gun and never Flight Deck. What is Flight Deck? I don't know any Flight Deck.
Yeah.
But and I always thought, it would be cool if they
This was
had
a
like,
Top Gun ride.
What? Yes, there was a Top Gun ride.
But
It'd be cool if they, if they somehow found a way to like basically kind of like Mission Space style almost, kind of have like super thin screens that would come down over the cars and like enclose the cars, and then like kind of have almost like kind of motion simulator style elements like within the coaster itself. Like that would like really elevate Top Gun into like a true like, because when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do would like be to imagine rides at my hometown park with Disney levels of theming.
what if my rides were cool?
Right. No, honestly, basically, yeah. Oh, like this ride is just like Thunder Mountain if I use my imagination.
Yeah, that's fair. I was kind of the same. But my home park had some interesting stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like when I was growing up, we had a Freedom Land dark ride at my home park, and like some stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As far as unfortunately, one of the big drawbacks for me with this is detail, which really leads into. I feel like we drafted a really good team, and I don't want to blame any one individual member for the team. Like, honestly, as much as we are frustrated with the fact that Honeybee did drop out, I don't hold any ill will against that, just because like they were like, I feel like they were really thrown off by the tribe swap, and then they also they also tried to take on Project Leader 2 times in a row, and
well,
so
yeah.
And to be fair,
that was self-inflicted, but yeah.
No, I know it was self-inflicted, but still, it's it is a reason why they would get stressed out. And,
yeah.
And I don't know. To be fair, like before they dropped, they were contributing, obviously.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, I really do feel like it's an issue of timing, and already I feel like this team in the brainstorming for Seuss has definitely made some leaps and bounds. So I think the next round is.
I think it ended up just being like a bad project for all of them somehow.
Right.
Where I don't know how it happened, but they all came together to not come together. But yeah, but they definitely seem to be doing a lot better this time around.
I mean, so with that in mind, I do hate to admit it, but this is probably pretty definitively the lowest scoring project so far in the season.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the ride system quick because I think it's really impractical.
Go ahead.
No, I just think it's really impractical. I know that you guys were talking about screens, and frankly, you should have done it because that would give a lot of people motion sickness to put them in a box and then put them down a roller coaster track.
Right. To me, it just kind of reminded me of like a less practical version of like coasters with VR headsets.
That was exactly what I was thinking. I was like, why isn't this just a VR thing? Like, better yet, why isn't this just a simulator? But yeah, no, I do agree as well, Sharon and Susan. You guys kind of focused on the wrong things. Whereas there's like 5 pages about the opening ceremonies, but nothing really about the ride.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a lot of like William Shatner doing kooky things at King's Island, but we don't actually like get to see what the ride is.
Unfortunately, yes. And I honestly feel like that is usually the direction that I go in as well. If like to me it's clear that we don't have time to do a project that is going to actually win.
You do like, kooky things with William Shatner?
I mean, you know me, like maybe not for William Shatner, but like, yeah, I've had my fair share of like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna crap something out, and it's gonna be goofy and fun, and it's at least gonna be memorable.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think we've all done that.
So I can respect that approch. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm really glad that you guys are coming together this round. Because last round was kind of a mess for everyone in this team. So, you know. Yeah, see, we have William Shatner as Hannah Baker. It's perfect.
Oh my God. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Hello, it's Hannah. Hannah Baker, live and in stereo. All right.
You're the reason why.
Oh God.
We need to stop this.
All right, just some comments here. No one was really coming up with any ideas, and the only themes we had was a non-IP biplane and Star Trek. That's totally fair, and I don't
totally
really
fair.
think the IP was a problem per se.
No,
just because I do
problem.
think it fit in really well with the Paramount of it all.
It worked out. I just think that it was a little shoehorned in, and it didn't need to be an IP. But that's also just me. And that's kind of my personal frustration with how everyone's been doing IPs recently.
Right, yeah.
But it's really not a big deal. It didn't really affect your score. I don't think it affected your score at all for me. But it's worth mentioning.
All right, so on to the final project of the evening. And by the way, guys, we're going to announce the winner and the PO MVP at the end of this. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, we are.
Here we go. Secret Weapon 9. All right, guys. I am going to fully admit Alton Towers and just British coasters in general, terrible blank spot on my coaster knowledge resume.
Really?
Terrible blank spot. I am not read up on it for the most part. I know way more about Japanese coasters than I do about British coasters.
British theme parks.
Oh, you're really satisfied about that, aren't you?
I mean, I haven't been on any Japanese coasters, but yeah.
Do it before you leave, fucker.
Well, Jesus, there's a pandemic. I can only do so much.
Yeah. It still bothers me that you're like fucking like I know you're not right there. I know you're not right there, but you're right there.
I promise you, you're not the only one bothered by this. No, I think British theme parks are really interesting. Maybe like 4 years ago, there's this guy on YouTube who started making documentaries about British dark rides that were really fascinating. And unfortunately, most of them have been taken down because I guess he was getting like copyright claims like illegitimately. So he took most of them down, but they were really interesting. But the coasters are just as interesting to me. They're super unique.
All right, so let's get into, for me. Okay, oh, God, I'm gonna get some heat for this. I know I'm gonna get heat for this. I'm gonna get heat for this.
Just say it. Get it out of the way.
I think this backstory is really well done, really well written. You can honestly tell that Peregrine has a degree in frickin' folklore, whatever the hell.
A degree in folklore. He went out to the woods and he spent 4 years living with a druid.
Okay, Evan, you can speak to this way better than I can, and you didn't seem to be bothered by it. But for me, I thought the backstory was, I was getting vibes of like, okay, guys, like I'm gonna need a spreadsheet to keep up with this.
I thought you agreed with me when I told you why I wasn't bothered by it.
What, in terms of like the fact that they kind of built it up through the haunted house and everything?
No, that this is like obviously we can't experience this firsthand, so the backstory is long, but in like the world of the ride, I guess you could say it's all gonna be like shown visually. Or
Adventure Atoll, yeah, Outbound, yeah. That's the vibe I got, honestly.
That's exactly my problem with your critique for 1986 with that, is that you have to realize that all of this is going to be shown visually in the sense of the ride, but obviously you can't write that, so you're just going to write the story, which makes total sense, and I think that's fine. Also, I appreciate the Witcher 3 art. I don't really know why it's there. There was no mention of Lessons, but you know.
Right. Okay. I am like, I know that it's a weird critique, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Like, for me, it's just it's very much not how I'm used to reading armchair Imagineering projects, and there's so much of it. And honestly, I just get anxiety that I'm missing details.
I mean, to be fair, you don't like really need to know every aspect of the backstory. So like just read it, but don't worry about like retaining all of it, I guess.
I mean, that might be a good hint for me because I
Yeah.
feel like that is one of my blocks is that I feel like I'm reading this. I'm like, okay, like the spreadsheet of it all. You know what I mean? It's like I joke about that and it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I feel like I am trying to keep up with all these details in my head. And maybe if I should, maybe in the future, I should just kind of like let the details sort of wash over me and be like, all right,
Yeah.
I got kind of like a feel for the story. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Also,
By the way,
Beowulf's right that
yeah.
Alton Towers coasters, rides in general, but especially their coasters, have pretty deep backstories.
That's what you're saying, and
Yeah.
I'm just I again like I'm just not really up to speed on I mean I'm familiar with like a couple Alton Towers coasters, like maybe like Nemesis and Smiler, but that's about
Yeah.
it. Those are the only two I can even name off the top of my head.
Yeah, they all. I mean, like 13, all of that. Rita.
Uh-huh.
They all have pretty deep backstories, except for maybe like Oblivion, as far as I know.
Uh-huh.
But again, they're all shown visually, so it's not. It doesn't seem as much when you're actually there, but it's probably about as in
Sure.
depth. Because
Like
also
honestly,
this plays into the backstory of the region of the area too, the Dark
that's
Forest.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. Like one of the things looking into Dollywood, one of the things I'm really excited about is a coaster called Tennessee Tornado. And I'm excited about that just because the whole surrounding area of Tennessee Tornado is like a twister has like gone through the town, and there's like all kinds of like weather destruction like as you're walking towards the coaster before you even get to the queue.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I really like that sort of placemaking with coasters, and so I get the feeling that that's kind of like, I mean, obviously, with the idea of like a twister rolling through a western town, it's a pretty simple concept. There's not like an elaborate backstory to it or anything like that. But there's sort of like little details that you could probably not even catch if you're not looking for them. I think that's kind of what you're getting at, right?
Yeah, no, there's small details that obviously can't really be written without it being way too much.
Sure,
But
sure.
yeah, but it facilitates that very long backstory, so it seems more accessible when you're actually there.
I gotcha. Okay, so let's talk the ride system because this is definitely like the most interesting part of the ride for me.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I just really, it's just so well thought out as far. I like how in this concept art, it's not like I like how there's like, oh, this is how it could work, not this is how it will work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just something about that kind of language that like makes me like wrap my head around it a lot more. Um, like turntable, like mech moves around turntable, question mark.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm reading that right. 4 rows per train, question mark. I don't know. The reason I like that for this sort of artwork is that it does genuinely give it an authentic feel of like this is a concept,
Yeah. So
All right.
rule of thumb, guys, for future projects, if you want to like bump Tiki's realism score, just put a question mark at the end of every sentence, and it's perfect.
Right. I don't feel like I explained myself well on that, but
No, you did. I totally understand what you're saying.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna take my criticism because I'm sure people have thoughts. So Fury. Let's see. The first half was just build up to the land as a whole, anyways. The second half is what matters, just the werewolf stuff. The rest is context. Yeah, I gotcha for sure. I haven't completed my folklore degree yet. The druids didn't accept my pre-calc transfer credits, so now I have to take another math class. Ooh, that sucks, Beargron. I actually like feel for you on that one.
I really hate gen eds. Like they're so pointless.
Yeah. All right, let's let's go ahead and watch this video, shall we? Just to kind of show it off, and we have Ace's sweet narration in the background.
Ace's soothing voice.
I mean, honestly, Ace, I really do think you've got a good narration voice.
Yeah.
I like this. Honestly, feels like I don't mean this in any sort of disparaging way because I'm addicted to this kind of content. That kind of reminds me of like the true scary Reddit stories kind of videos, you know, like,
yeah.
like with the like with the piano and everything.
Yeah, like chills.
Not chills. Fuck chills. I mean, I enjoy chills as a meme. I'm talking more like Hell Freezer, Bee Busta. I don't know. Those are the ones off the top of my head. Mr. Nightmare. Believe it or not, Corpse Husband used to be in that genre until things took a really weird turn with him. But
he's been having health issues, I think, right? I don't really follow the.
All I know is that it's just the insane like face reveal thing that people are way too obsessed with. So
how he just looks like a dude. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, right. It's like what the fuck are your people's problems? Honestly,
the same thing happened with Dream, where someone leaked his face, and he's just like an overweight 18-year-old. Now everyone's like all the simps are pissy.
I do really. This to me was a great example of teamwork right here. Where, remind me, do you know off the top of your head who designed this?
No.
I'm sorry.
It's probably the end, maybe? Since we asked for team credits at the end of every project. Well, what did you do? Oh my god.
Wow. Fail. Instant F.
You bastards, yeah.
You know what? Sorry. You guys just lose automatically for that.
Yep. Yeah, you do.
Right, no, seriously.
And here we have an artistic representation of Beowulf. Of what Beowulf sees when they look in the mirror.
I think that I really like the idea that like
Beowulf designed it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So what I
know Monkey wrote a bunch of the dark ride scenes. I think, yeah.
So what I like about this is that I like that Beowulf designed this just kind of like his concept art, I believe. And they were able to turn it into like, hey, make your own werewolf, just based on how it kind of looks like an action figure. I love when shit like that happens in this game. I love when like little sparks of creativity happen, you know, just based on like what different people are kind of bringing to the table. So that was great. That definitely like upped my teamwork score right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, can I mention one thing about the like the viral marketing that they did that totally doesn't matter, but I thought it was funny. This is a British theme park. You have a Canadian on your team, and you used American spelling for all of your tweets.
All right, yeah.
You have someone who literally writes in that way.
Right, that's funny. All right. Other than that, I can say I love the logo for this thing.
Yeah, the logo is fantastic.
It's a fucking great logo, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to the winners.
Yeah.
Okay. Do third place, second place, first place.
I was gonna do first place, third place, second place.
Let's build up.
Okay. Third place. I mean, it's Team Ringling. With 111 points out of 150, because we were counting Doug's scores as well.
Yeah.
Second place, with 143.5 points, was Team Barnum, which means that Team Bailey won with 153.5.
And so let's address Peregrine for the first time in So You Want to Be an Imagineer history.
By technicality.
You have won PO MVP for a second week in a row. Evan, explain this.
Yeah, so that's not supposed to happen, but since he didn't technically win PO MVP last week, since it was through Walt's fault, we decided to let it happen. It's like a technicality sort of thing. So yeah, great job, he did it.
Yeah, so just for future reference, guys, like generally speaking in the future, if someone has PO MVP that round, then they are not eligible for PO MVP the next round. But we did let it happen just because, like we said, technically it was like a Walt's fault. Like, hey, give anyone the PO MVP before they even contribute to the project. So
Yeah.
All right, so Peregrine, congrats. Is this his second or third?
A second. Yeah, we
Okay,
talked about
good.
this before the show. Yeah. That's 3 in a row. He did it. I don't remember.
All right,
who got the
guys.
first
So,
one.
yeah, I think that's about it. I think we pretty much cracked it out.
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
I'm going to go watch Luca and get drunk.
I'm
Have a
gonna
good
not
night,
do
everyone.
that. Goodbye.
I am seriously going to do that. I'm not even joking.
No, I doubted you, but since you said that, I understand. I know now that you are in fact going to do that. No, thank you for
It'll be
clarifying.
fun. And I'm going to be with my grandma too. It'll be a blast. She'll probably
Is
be drunk
she
too.
going to get drunk?
Probably. Honestly,
She's gonna
she'll probably have a couple of glasses of wine and be tipsy.
Yeah.
So
God, it's a great day in the Tiki household.
it is. It is. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Goodbye.